The first round of the 2022 Guinness Six Nations is done and dusted, and what a weekend of action. Personally for me, I had a great week of fantasy, scoring 746 points. Before we get into the deep dive into how the round went for me, I'd just like to say a huge thanks to the recent support on the channel. So many of you are commenting, subscribing and joining my fantasy leagues outside of YouTube. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm grateful for all your support. Anyway, enough being soppy, let's get into the video. So the first game of the weekend saw Ireland take on Wales at the Aviva Stadium, and my prediction was in fact correct. I believed Ireland were too powerful and their pack would dominate Wales, which it did. Annoyingly, I probably should have picked more Ireland front five players, but my other Irish boys didn't do too badly. The combination of Ringrose and Aki was huge for me, both scoring 73 points, joint second highest for my whole team. Doris was also solid, but was probably outperformed by Van der Fleer on the back row. And as for Kelleher, well, I'm probably a little disappointed that he didn't get more points than 32, or even bag a try. But the promise was there, and looking back on it, I'm happy with my decisions. As for Wales, well, I'm glad my prediction came true. A late Basham try really put the icing on the cake for me, scoring almost 70 points, which was another huge score for my overall team. If I'm honest, I wasn't expecting this many from him, but my theory was right. He carried and tackled like a machine, and fortunately, the try was a bonus. As for Jenkins and Thomas Williams, I'm not too disappointed. I added them to my bench in case my Irish prediction was wrong, so I can't be too mad for playing it a little safe. Maybe this week I'll go all in on sides who I think will win, but saying that, Basham didn't perform too badly, did he? And he wasn't on the winning side. Next up was Scotland versus England, and once again my vision was right. The game was cagey and a real slog of a game. Scotland hardly had the ball, but when they did, they executed. Looking back, I probably could have added another Scottish player into the team, rather than taking 4 English players. But I really can't be too picky now, can I? I was happy with Johnny Gray's return. Second rows don't usually get great points, so 28 is solid. Sutherland I guess was slightly disappointing, with 12, which was my second lowest in my starting team. And at the time I thought Van der Merwe's 44 points looked to be decent, without a try. But obviously the French game made that pick slightly less decent. Now as for the England players, well, overall probably disappointing. Smith was a standout, having scored a try and all their points. But why did Eddie Jones take him off? Has he not seen what Smith has done for Harlequins this season? He's the master of late wins. Anyway, Genge was a good return at prop with just under 20 points. But I'm a little disappointed with Curry and Itoje. 2 of England's best players didn't really have the effect I was hoping for. If England had played well, then of course I wouldn't be in this position. But they didn't play well, and as a result, my fantasy points suffered. So all in all, not good from England. Hopefully they can turn it around against Italy next week. And the final game of the opening weekend was France versus Italy. I obviously didn't have any Italian players, so just French to look at. Lots to talk about in this one. First of all, Penaud did well. Thankfully, for me, he scored a late try, which was a relief in some ways because he's my captain. But obviously, this was made slightly less satisfactory when Villiers goes and scores 3. So for all you who had Villiers, congrats. In my last video, I was literally debating whether to go with Penaud or Villiers, and I chose the wrong one. But then again, I always probably was going to go with Penaud. It was probably Van der Merwe who I would have swapped out. So this one's very annoying, but hindsight is a great thing after all. Then we have the 2 mediocre picks in Jaminet and Dupont. Probably didn't do as well as I would have hoped. The conditions definitely played a factor in that. But I guess I'm lucky I didn't have either as my captain, which I was close to doing, especially with Jaminet. So definitely middle of the road for these 2. And probably the worst pick of all in my opinion was Malvaca. Not only did he not score many points, which in itself really hurts, but he also took up that final French spot in my team, which could have actually been Villiers. Then I really would have been laughing. But we can't have regret in fantasy because it can become a pretty dark place. I'm not sure whether I need to rethink my super sub strategy for this upcoming round. Some of you did mention in the comments about taking up a French spot on my starting team. But obviously for the rewards you have to make risks, and my Malvaca risk didn't pay off unfortunately. But we go again next week for some more fantasy fun. If you enjoyed today's video then please leave a like, and if you're new please subscribe to this growing channel. I think we're really building a nice community here, so keep hitting that subscribe button and keep liking the videos. Also let me know how you all got on in the first round as well. So that's the end of today's video. I'll be back on Friday night with my team selection for round 2. So turn notifications on to not miss it. Have a great rest of the week and I'll see you in the next one.